Hello, happy Monday. We are coming at you a few days early today. It's a busy week here at Nourish with Emily between Sarah and I, so we're going to give Sarah a second to hop on with us. We're going to have our friends. I'm so excited to be talking with you guys today. We were talking about seasonal affective disorder, which can kind of see like the winter blues, you sometimes usually said. Other people just call it, like feeling down or not having a lot of motivation or excitement for this time of year. Very, very common. So we're going to be talking about how to combat that with nutrition and lifestyle choices and behaviors to help make sure that you're feeling better again. Tracy, thank you so much for tuning in. How are you? So we're just going to wait for Sarah to hop on here with us. Once Sarah is on, she will request to go live with me and we will get started. If you are watching this live, please comment team live. If you're watching this replay, please comment team replay. There is our friend Sarah. Awesome, inviting Sarah on camera. Put my headphones in so we can hear each other. Awesome. Hello everybody. Annie's on. Tracy's on. Sarah here.
Everyone's here.
It's a party. Annie actually just FaceTimed me maybe a half an hour ago. They made pulled pork, 7 pounds of pulled pork.
Oh my gosh, Annie, you made a lot of pulled pork. Can you ship some to me, please, as a family friend discount? That'd be great.
She's like, "Can I freeze this?" And I'm like, "Yes, you can definitely freeze it."
Yes.
I was like, totally you got meals set for a while there with that one, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you can do so many things with it. You can make like carnitas bowls, or you could do like pulled pork sandwiches. There's so many things you can do with pulled pork.
I didn't even think of carnitas bowls. That's such a good idea. I don't know why I don't think of that. But yeah, she said she's making sandwiches. We'll be eating it for 10 years. That is for sure.
I hope you really like pulled pork, Annie, because you will be eating that for a while.
We're going to give everybody just one more minute to hop on. Then we're going to start talking about seasonal affective disorder and nutrition. Like I was saying before, a couple of people hopped on. It's like often that like winter blues kind of someone said, or that's not the way to do it, or just like feeling down, like in a funk, unmotivated this time of year. It is very, very common. I've heard that a lot actually from my clients over the past 2 weeks. Sarah, I'm sure that you've probably heard it as well, where people are just like, I don't feel 100%. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, it's not even my clients, like it's my coworkers at work too. It's everyone. It's just this time of year, especially when you're in the Northeast, like it doesn't, well, in the north of the United States in general, just losing that a lot of sunlight, don't have as much sun throughout the day, and it's cold outside, you can't go outside as much. It really does play a big role in how people feel, and it's totally understandable. We rely on the sun, and now we're stuck inside where we don't have much sunlight.
Absolutely. And it's like draining, like where you just don't feel good. And it's hard to, like, up here in the Northeast, we don't see the sun for many of the months out of the year. So it often leads to like vitamin D deficiency, which we'll talk about as well. But how important vitamin D is in your diet consistently to help with making sure that you're getting enough in for mood. But vitamin D is so, so important. Hey, Amanda, thanks for hopping on with us. Hey, Kelly. All right, so we are going to get started. So seasonal depression usually starts this time of year, usually happens after the holidays. It's kind of like a holiday letdown a little bit, some people will call it as well, where they're just not feeling 100%. You might feel like you're sleeping more, you're more tired, you're exhausted feeling. And really what it stems from is from serotonin and dopamine. So both of these affect our appetites and our moods. So if those are not really in conjunction, they're not working the best, we're going to have changes in our appetites. We might feel like we're hungrier. We might feel like we are like more irritable as well, or we're more tired. We're going to bed earlier, things like that. So dopamine is that hormone that helps with the alertness. So being awake and ready to go and functioning. It's usually found and better synthesized when we're having higher amounts of like protein foods. So Sarah, what are some like protein foods that you usually have like in your diet? Because these are the things that have the amino acids that help us feel better. The amino acids and those protein foods are the best part.
Yeah, so I have a lot of protein foods. I rely on dairy a lot, especially after I work out. After I work out, I usually make a smoothie with some yogurt and dairy to make sure I get that protein refuel. So definitely dairy. I also eat chicken. I eat beef. I'm not a fish person, but that is also a very good source of protein and some omegas as well. I also have some nuts as well. So nuts also has protein. So if you're more on the vegetarian side, that's also a great source of protein for you. How about you, Em? What do you eat usually?
I do a lot of dairy. I think that I live off of cheese. So actually one of my best friends, Caroline, who's a dietitian that I went to school with, I'm in her wedding this year, and she is putting on like their wedding website, you know, like ask me about whatever. And she put on there like ask me about cheese. So if someone sees me at the wedding and they read the wedding website, they're supposed to ask me about cheese apparently. But cheese and yogurt and dairy are really big for me. I also love to do beans as well. Joe and I have been doing a lot of couscous bowls for dinner with the boxes that we get. And the chickpeas in there are an excellent source of protein as well as fiber too. So those are really, really good and helpful. I'm also a big like fish eater. I like fish and seafood, which the omega-3s, that's a really good point, Sarah, that you brought up with those are very important for our brain health as well. We need the EPA and the DHA that are found with the omega-3s that are very you can sometimes, you know, get them through like fish oil supplements, but the best source is going to be from the natural source, and that's going to be just really important for brain health overall. We need those EPA and DHAs that come from fatty acids from the fish. Now, if you don't eat fish like Sarah does, you can absolutely take a supplement for it. You can also get omega-3s from some of the oils, so like vegetable oil, canola oil are extreme sources of omega-3s, well as olive oil is a source of omega-6s.
Yeah, for sure. And also some nuts as well. So nuts also provide some omega. So then don't worry, like don't stress, oh my gosh, I'm missing out on this nutrient. I don't like fish. No, you can go through other sources as well. Flaxseed, that's a really good one. Nuts in general, they're really good sources and they're easy to add to your diet. You can put them on top of salads. You could snack on, just bring them to work and like have a pack there to snack on mindfully. There's so many other ways that you can get these omegas in, so you don't have to stress about, oh my gosh, I don't eat fish. So you're okay. And like I said, there's multiple sources for different categories of nutrients, so you'll find something that you like.
Exactly. And you can always ask us too if you need help as far as pinpointing, you know, am I getting enough in of this? Just ask us. So we talked about dopamine. We talked about that we need the proteins for it to be able to synthesize. That's why we're having those protein foods. Proteins are made up of amino acids. So we need those protein foods. And then serotonin is that feel-good hormone that we have that's secreted, especially released after having carbohydrate foods. So that's why if somebody is having seasonal depression disorder, or they're feeling kind of just like off overall, kind of down, they might be craving more of those high carb foods because their body is craving that serotonin. So we're craving those high calorie things that might be like sweets or, you know, just eating endless amounts of bread, which I know I can do sometimes too. But we want to be aware of that, saying like, okay, if I am constantly craving these sweets, my body might be trying to tell me something now.
Yeah, one way to think of like serotonin with carbs is someone celebrating a birthday. What do you have usually with a birthday? You have cake. So you think of cake and you think of bread, which is a carb. So one way you can think is like, what makes you happier? What's a happy time when you're celebrating? Okay, cake, that. So you can always use that to relate to serotonin. But yeah, like Emily said, carbs are a great source of serotonin. There's so many different options out there. There's pasta, rice, fruits, vegetables, you name it, there's so many carb options out there. So just figuring out which one works best for you without overdoing it is really essential to helping you get that serotonin in without feeling sluggish from eating too many carbs.
Absolutely. And the reason why that we tend to kind of crave some of those sweet stuff, especially if we're not feeling 100%, is we often have those memories that are attached to them. You know, you have ice cream in the summer after you celebrated a great day at work, or, you know, with your kids, or you have cake after like a birthday. So we tend to crave those things and saying like, okay, if I'm craving these sweets, if I'm craving carbohydrates, that's telling me that I didn't get enough in throughout the day, that I've got to get more of those whole grains. I've got to get more fruits and vegetables in to help that overall.
Yeah, no, it's very essential. And then also if you have your meats, if you have a breaded meat, that's also some carb on there too. So there's just so many different ways to get your carbs in. So just figuring out how to space them out throughout the day without overloading, because that's just going to lead to you not having you're going to have more of a foggy mentality. You're not going to be as awake. Just making sure you are smartly figuring out your carbs throughout the day. That will really help a lot. But like Emily said, having carbs, like you think of it with good memories, those sweets, those cookies, cakes, stuff like that. And then the glucose also helps your brain too. So glucose is essential for brain function. That's why it's so important to make sure you are getting carbs. Carbs are not the enemy at all.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that, Sarah. Now, some other things that are going to help us as well. Exercise is really, really important. Now, if anybody has seen Legally Blonde, you know that exercise releases endorphins, and endorphins make you happy. So we want to be moving. You know, it doesn't have to be, if you can't pull yourself to the gym, I get it. I did a couple Pilates videos in here. I went on a walk earlier. Joe likes to hop on the bike. All of those things help to boost our mood. So as long as we're staying active, that's a really good place to kind of help that kind of like down feeling overall as well. Sarah, what's like the basic recommendation as far as for exercise?
For exercise, they really recommend 150 minutes of exercise, moderate exercise a week. So it doesn't have to be all in one day. So don't worry about that. What usually the general recommendation is about 30 minutes for 5 days out of the week, which is definitely more doable. And it doesn't have to be, like Emily said, straight exercise. You don't have to go for the gym for 30 minutes at a time. You can maybe do like a 15-minute workout at home, then go on a 15-minute walk. Or maybe you could do 3 10-minute walks, or you could just walk around the mall for the hour or something. So finding out what works for you, because what works for you is not going to work for someone else. Everyone's individualized for a reason. So you have to figure out what you like. Emily said she likes Pilates. I prefer to go to the gym and lift weights. So that's something I like to do. So everyone's different. Just figure out what works for you, and then you're more likely to succeed at getting that exercise in.
And too, another big piece that exercise helps so much is that you're breathing deeper during that time. So you're bringing in a lot more fresh oxygen to your body and to your cells that can help you feel better also. So that's another big reason why exercise is so important. Now, with the weather being colder overall, we really want to focus on foods that are high in vitamin C. Now, 1 mega dose of vitamin C is not going to prevent you from getting sick if you are like getting COVID or anything like that, or just the cold that's going around. We want to make sure that we're having consistent doses of vitamin C, because that can also help with boosting our mood while preventing illness too. So some great sources of vitamin C are going to be like kiwi, oranges, broccoli, potatoes, berries. Any of those are going to be really good sources. When you have those colors, those antioxidants, those are helping preventing you from getting sick. Now, we don't need to be eating them all the time where that's exclusively what you're eating, but we should be eating them throughout the day, trying to get those 2 to 3 servings in. Now, you might think you need supplementation. Sarah, what do you think about that as far as supplementation with vitamin C?
So I think personally, I think it's a big waste. You don't need that much vitamin C. I think what the max is 90 milligrams. Correct?
Yes, 65 milligrams for women, 75 for men, adds 30 if you're a smoker.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, that's that. Most of these vitamin C packets are like 2,000 milligrams. There's so much extra. And what is your body doing with this extra? Just excreting it right out. So you're just going to the bathroom and peeing it right out, and you're not keeping it in. So you really don't need that much at all. You can easily get that from just your like a couple fruits or something. People think it's a lot harder to get the vitamin C, and then it really is. So just rely on your foods. You don't have to rely on that supplement at all. I know it tastes good. I had vitamin C supplements when I was a kid, and I loved them. They taste like
right.
But you're just wasting your money. You could be spending that on something else instead.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have very expensive urine at that point. It is not good. Not good at all. And also too, like taking such high doses can be harmful, you know, especially for like women's health. If you're taking 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, that can actually cause like women's health issues as far as like premature bleeding and things like that. You don't want that.
You don't need that at all. Just get your vitamin C and all of your other nutrients if you can through your food. Obviously, we'll go into it a little bit more later with vitamin D. That's kind of an exception, but just rely on your foods. You're most likely consuming them if you have a balanced plate.
Yeah, absolutely. And another way too to get vitamin C in, bell pepper has like 1.5 times the amount of vitamin C that you should be having per day. Have a bell pepper. You've met everything. You've met your needs by having that one bell pepper. It's gonna be okay.
You're set. Just go get 7 bell peppers for the week, and then you're good.
Exactly. You got that color. But Sarah brought up the vitamin D as well. So we are definitely deficient up here in the Northeast because we don't see the sun throughout the year. Now, vitamin D is very important with our mood. It's also important for bone health and just health overall. So we can get vitamin D from full fat dairy sources and other like fatty foods, like those heart healthy fatty foods, as well as through enriched foods. Sometimes orange juice will be enriched with vitamin C. Milk naturally has vitamin D. Milk naturally has vitamin D in it. But supplementation of vitamin D is definitely a little bit more common because we're all definitely deficient in it.
Oh yeah, the Northeast, like even my dietetics professor said that's the one supplement they would recommend for people is to have a vitamin D supplement, just because it's so hard to get it in foods, not in too many foods, but people are being made more aware of it. Vitamin D was never, people didn't know that it was this much of a problem until fairly recently. So maybe now they'll start to supplement more foods, or like enrich it in the foods. But for right now, if you don't feel like if you're not a dairy person, I would definitely recommend vitamin D supplements so that you do get some in, because it does play a very big important part of your health. And like Emily said, in the Northeast, I'm even in DC, but I'm definitely not getting enough from the sun. So making sure that you get enough in your foods if you can, because we're lacking it from not having as much sunlight. I know when I was in Florida, I had that extra. Florida was nice. Sun sets like at 5 here, would set at 6 there. So I'd have that extra hour of sun down there. You know, have a nice warm sun. So obviously people in Florida are going to get more vitamin D because they have that 80-degree weather to 100-degree weather all year long. You also want to be mindful. You don't want to be like, oh, well, they said I need to get vitamin D. I'm not going to put sunscreen on. Definitely put sunscreen on still. Your skin is way more important than your vitamin D levels at the time. So maybe just like do 5 minutes of sunlight with no sunscreen. I don't know. I'm not a doctor in that, so I don't want to give out false advice.
I think it's like 15 minutes. 15 minutes of direct sunlight without sunscreen. You know, we'll still having clothes on, obviously. You're not running around naked or in a bathing suit. Will meet your vitamin D needs throughout the day. So even if you go outside for 15 minutes and then put your sunscreen on, still effective.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can even get vitamin D lamps as well. Some people have those in their home and they'll like turn it on when they're getting ready in the morning.
That sounds super helpful, because honestly, it's not even just lacking the vitamin D. It's just lacking sunlight in general too. I know I work a 5-job, so when I leave, it's like sun is rising, but when I leave to go to work, sun is rising, but when I'm leaving work, it's starting to get dark. So I know that's kind of depressing too, just not having the sunlight there the whole time. So what I try to do for myself, going back to exercise for a second, is I try to get out in the middle of the day to get a 10-minute walk in. That not only knocks off exercise, I get to see the sunlight for a little bit and get some fresh air. So I would definitely recommend that if you're someone that relies on the sun, your work can wait. Go outside, take a 10 to 15-minute walk, and you really won't regret it. The fresh air, I know it's cold, but just bundle up or be prepared and just do a quick 10 to 15-minute walk. It really does help a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And then lastly too is you need your rest. You need your rest. You need to give yourself grace. You need the time in bed, 8 hours. You know, even if you aren't sleeping for the entire 8 hours, just try to be in bed for 8 hours. Rest and relax and to de-stress, because there's a lot going on right now. There's not a lot going on because it's wintertime, but there's a lot going on in the world right now, and just mentally and COVID and everything. You have to take care of yourself, and you really, it's so cliche, but you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to give yourself that time. You got to give yourself that mental break.
No, that's definitely so important. And one way to start doing that is putting the phone down like half an hour before you go to bed and pick up a book instead. Give your brain something to do. Just don't look at electronics before going to bed, because that'll just really help your sleep a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. But anything else that you want to add, Sarah? I feel like we covered a lot of the topic and give people some really good sound advice. It's nutrition and lifestyle as well.
Yeah, no, I think that we, like you said, we did cover a lot. Just overall, try to see the sun as you can. If you have a window, it really helps a lot. Not even just for the vitamin D, like we said, just to see the sunlight, because I know that's an instant mood booster. And know that you're not alone. If you're going through seasonal affective disorder, it happens to so many people. And don't think that, oh, I'm not good enough because I have this. No, so many people go through it. It's natural, and it's totally common, and it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Just ask for help. You know, that's what we're here for. That's what, you know, your healthcare provider's there for. We're there to help you feel better. So let us know if you have any questions on this topic. Next week, we haven't decided on a day yet. I am out of town next Monday, so it won't be next Monday or next Friday. But I believe the topic that I have scheduled is we're going to be talking about protein. So different types of protein, whether it is a complete protein or an incomplete protein, sources of protein, how much protein we need, answering all of your protein questions. So if you have questions about that, you can leave them down in the comments below, or just post them in the group, and we will definitely get back to that for next week.
Sounds good. Enjoy your trip. And also, everyone, please help me congratulate Em on making Nurse with Emily her full time.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Today was my first day.
Yeah, first day as an independent boss lady woman.
So exciting. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going on a business trip this weekend to see my mentor out in California and, you know, be with other dietitians too. So I'm super excited to share what I learned with you guys there. We'll be talking about functional nutrition, which sounds very, very interesting. I know it's a lot of like gut health and microbiome and everything and hormones. So excited to share that knowledge with you all.
Yeah, we're so excited for you and can't wait to hear it.
All right, awesome. Have a wonderful rest of your night, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please share this with a friend. Give this video a thumbs up. Let us know if you have any questions, and we will see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.